Well, you're listening to sirens blasting in Jerusalem yesterday after Israel's military intercepted a missile. Israel claims it was fired by the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. It is the fourth such attack in just one day. And this came on the same day that thousands rallied in Yemen's capital city to protest Israel's war in Gaza and recent U.S. airstrikes in Yemen. Our next guest is the author of Hunting the Caliphate, retired Army Major General Dana Pittard. And thank you for joining us this afternoon. I want to ask you about this sort of campaign the Trump administration is trying with the Houthis. We're about 50 days in now, and yet they continue to resist. They keep launching missiles into Israel. This is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, with our Brett Baer, defending their tactic right now. Listen here.
I think that the president has made it very clear that one of his core national security priorities is that if you load stuff onto a ship and you send it to the United States, we want to make sure that it shows up without the sailors getting killed, without the ship being destroyed. That is an objective that we're going to pursue forcefully if we have to.
So, General, the question is, does something need to change with this strategy because the Houthis just keep resisting?
Well, good afternoon, Aisha. I think what was just said by Vice President Vance was a good objective, certainly, that we want to ensure safe shipping to the United States. However, what we're doing as far as the airstrikes over the last 50 days has been relatively ineffective in stopping the Houthi rebels. It makes us feel good, but it's been ineffective. What will be effective against the Houthis is a combination of airstrikes, ground operations, and use of our sea power to an extent. Now, it doesn't have to be U.S. forces on the ground. It could be a coalition from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, our Gulf state allies. They fought against Yemen from 2015 to 2020. But something must be done seriously. All we're doing right now are pinpricks. A strategic campaign with a coalition is what's needed to stop the Houthis.
Okay, I want to sort of lay out the scene here of what's going on in the Middle East. If we can pop up the map here of our U.S. military assets, and we'll see that Secretary Pete Hegseth is keeping 2 aircraft carrier battle groups around the Red Sea. General, how important is that, and does that feel like the right thing to do right now?
Well, it's a big deal to keep 2 carrier strike groups in the area. It's the USS Carl Vinson and USS Truman, which I've been on before. USS Truman is going to be kept there a week longer. It's certainly sending a message. The CENTCOM Commander General Eric Kurilla asked for the 2 carrier strike groups to remain. That will help with the air campaign. But again, air campaign alone will not stop the Houthis. We saw that with ISIS. We were very successful with airstrikes against the ISIS, but it's because there were ground elements from Iraqi security forces and others that helped on the ground against ISIS. So air power has its limits. So much more must be done.
So this is kind of this is the opening act. This is the first military campaign by this administration. And you have to imagine that our adversaries all over the world are watching to see how this goes. How important is it, and how quickly we can defeat the Houthis?
Well, I think it's important that we defeat the Houthi rebels. How fast? It will take time. And if we are serious about it, then we need to do the campaign that I mentioned earlier. If we're not, then withdraw. But airstrikes are like pinpricks. Houthis been fighting in that area for 10 to 20 years. They're not going to be deferred or deterred by airstrikes alone.
Okay. Major General Dana Pittard, thank you for joining us and sharing your expertise. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.